Anyway, you doxed him.
Where's your evidentiary support that I gave the docs of Joe from the Carolinas to the group? Because that's what you said.
He should go live. He should prove his point. He should show it. And that way the FBI can watch his video. They can actually get help in finding the person that did this. But that's not what happened. And there's a big reason why it didn't. You doxed him.
How is it that you are able to make the allegation that I sent the docs to this group of Joe from the Carolinas?
I didn't get any proof that this group did release Joe's information. The attempt in doing this is solely to get to the truth and not to hold someone guilty who's not guilty and to let another group go free. June 8th, 2019, why it's so hard to not think someone else doxed Joe from the Carolinas than who you think did.
If we're wrong for suggesting that the screenshot data that we have, that we argue and that many people believe, supports the conclusion that Corey Goode was involved in a Doxxing campaign along with Joy Jackson and Rob Fenoy and all these other yahoos, how is it that you are able to make the allegation that I sent the docs to this group of Joe from the Carolinas or was behind any of this?
These screenshots show a group on Facebook Messenger discussing Emery Smith, Corey Goode. They are fact-checking. They are creating memes. They're talking about videos to make, articles to write. Basically, the screenshots show that this group of people are fans of Corey and have turned against Corey's network, Gaia. This is all I've received. Let's see what your best evidence is to draw your fucking crazy narrative conclusions. Here's the intel that I received from Goode while I was gone. Why were you on Twitter in November and October spreading a narrative that Goode was doing this in a group? Because you knew, motherfucker, and you were lying to the community. You knew back in October. You've been talking to Kelly the whole time. You knew exactly what they were doing in that group. So I have to ask this question now. Why in the fucking February did you tell everybody that they were responsible and you had the proof for it, but then not produce it? And why did you lie about who Kelly was and what she was doing unless you doxed Joe?
So we're bad because we have bad evidentiary support, but you're good because you have no evidentiary support?
I read through what he sent me quickly, and you sat there and said to yourself, wait a minute, so now I know who's working together. So I wonder, CW, is it possible that you said, I'm going to build a narrative on Twitter. Now that I have a little bit of background information, I can try to build a narrative that Joe is going to get doxed. Because that's what happened, buddy. I got the proof. I didn't get any proof that this group did release Joe's information. I've got evidence and I've shown it, and I'm telling you, and it would have been good enough, bro. It would have been good enough for Kelly to come out and show people that they were building narratives in the Facebook group. These screenshots show a group on Facebook Messenger discussing Emery Smith, Corey Goode. They are fact-checking. They are creating memes. They're talking about videos to make, articles to write. Basically, the screenshots show that this group of people are fans of Corey and have turned against Corey's network, Gaia. This is all I've received. That would have been enough, dude. But you know why I think Joe got doxxed? God damn it, Joe would kill me. Anyway, you doxed him. Listen to me, please, for fuck's sake, because he's fucking running his mouth like a lying son of a bitch. If you keep believing him, you're going to be looked at like a Q follower. I'm sorry to say it, you're believing on faith, because I'm about to drop some hard logic. I'm about to debunk him. This is the most simple piece of evidence. Of course, it wasn't the piece of evidence I put out first. I wanted to know if I could trust CW to get over the bullshit, reach out, try to help us understand why he said it so we could...
Where's your evidentiary support that I gave the docs of Joe from the Carolinas to the group? Because that's what you said.
Anyway, you doxed him.
That's not what you said most recently, because now that you know you're floating, Now that you know that people are following up and following your arguments and following your analysis and talking back to you, now your story sort of changes.
Everything that happened after Joe's information was shared, involving the sharing of it specifically, still stands. Corey Goode and Jordan Sather are still just as responsible for the most people seeing this. I wanted to know if I could trust CW to get over the bullshit, reach out, and provided their screenshot evidence. This is what I received. They didn't have anything new. This story was emailed to me by CW Chanter, even though he lied about emailing it to me later. All the screenshot evidence was out there. But if he would have reached out to me and at least shared the shit with me, this is all I've received. I didn't get any more evidence. I didn't get any proof that this group did release Joe's information. I read through what he sent me quickly, checked it in Photoshop to see if anything strange jumped out at me. But if he would have reached out to me and worked in a favorable light, it would have made him look much better so that I could present this. All those other things you had to know, they had to be put out, they had to be represented, but this is the big thing. This is the thing that matters.
Where's your evidentiary support that I gave the docs of Joe from the Carolinas to the group? Because that's what you said.
This guy owns the Fade to Light blog. He pulled a public website of CW and a public website of Joe and put it on Fade to Light. That's not a dox. Now, it is a dox to whoever put this shit out on Twitter. I'll agree. That's not a dox. Now, it is a doc. That's not a dox. Now, it is a doc. Get me? I'll agree. So I went live and told the community what was going on. You doxed him. That I had changed my mind on what people called DOXXGate.
That's not what you said most recently. Now your story sort of changes.
And now I was 50-50 that the original group did it, or that 50-50 CW had something to do with it. The biggest motherfucking evidence I could show you is that
now your story sort of changes.
Well, Richard Ramseur, who is the manager for Corey Goode, were friends with CW in 2016. This is before he even started this religion, yes, called Commonwealth Chanting.
Now your story sort of changes.
Changed my mind. It does prove this statement that I've made that not only was Kelly member of the secret troll group, but somebody else was too. Roger Ramseur, provably, no way to argue it, no way to fight it, no way to call me a liar. This is the kind of thing he will not talk about on his channel, and this is why he demonizes me. But this is a big part to my DOXXGate expose on him. This is back when he was attacked a lot, and he was defended. Him and Corey both. If I get this shit off my fucking screen, 1 second.
I'm making this video as a response to a comment that Dark Journalist made in response to a comment that I left on one of his videos.
Dark Journalist, I love you. You got to shake yourself out of it. They knew who he was back in 2016, early 2016.
Upon Roger Ramseur, who's Corey Goode's business partner, and especially concentrated upon Roger Ramseur's use of dark imagery.
He lied to you guys.
I'm going to be completely honest. You know, I'm a heavy metal kid.
Dark Journalist,
I lived through
listen
also
to me.
the 80s, the Satanic Panic. I've seen people come out and say horrible, horrendous, defamatory things about people like Colonel Michael Aquino, a Vietnam vet who's done nothing except have an alternative religious view.
They said his name. They watched all his videos. They knew he was a lawyer. I love you. Please, I'm doing this for your own good. You don't want the stain of this fake story hung to your channel. They will use this forever against you.
So
Cliff,
I made a very brief
I'm not presenting you a conspiracy theory. I'm presenting you enough provable evidence
kind enough to respond
couple
to that.
with
he gave a deep
the already provable lies that he said in
nice
DOXXGate.
paragraph response.
It gets you to start questioning why people
Dark
want you
Journalist
to
has
be
made
wrong.
many good comments about the problems with Corey Goode, issues that I agree with.
Let's just say this. What if the dox group didn't dox Joe?
Monetization, profitization, the marketing to kids. But what I'm not on board with is what happened during the Satanic Panic. I'm not on board with engendering thoughts and ideas that really are prejudicial.
I'm right about this, CW. You definitely are not who you say you are. You do not have the past you say you had. So what does he say when he addresses the fact that these guys were friends with him for a good period of time before he became a debunker?
That I'm not coming out to try and defend Roger here. He's a person I've spoken to a handful of times on Skype. That was a long time ago. My current attempts to communicate with him or get him on the line have been largely fruitless.
He says they weren't friends and they only communicated a very slight bit. And he's gone on at lengths about his conversations with Roger Ramsor and Corey Goode. So how do I find that, hear it for myself, and confirm it? I can't. He deleted it.
That's not what you said most recently, because now that you know you're floating, now that you know that people are following up and following your arguments and following your analysis and talking back to you, now your story sort of changes.
Anyway, you doxed him.